Okay, guys, welcome back to part 2 on the lesson of point of view. We're going to begin the lesson by repeating the I can statement together. I can determine the narrator's point of view in a text in order to explain how it influences the text. Next, we're going to review the video that was in the previous lesson as well.
Every story has a narrator, and every narrator has a different point of view. Which point of view is yours? Let's go! Everybody wants to know my point of view. First person is me, second person is you. Third person is he, third person is she. Everybody wants to know my POV. Everybody wants to know my point of view. First person is me, second person is you. Third person is he, third person is she. Everybody wants to know my POV.
Hey yo, knock knock, who's there? Narrator, narrator, who? Narrator, who gonna tell the story from a point of view? Every story's written in a certain voice. When you're writing, you need to make a choice. First, second, or third person, POV. The first person is all about me, or we, like we climbed the tree. I closed my eyes and I felt the breeze. I might be unreliable if I don't tell the truth. Now let's switch the point of view to you. In the second person, you're in a taxi. You're wondering how you got there exactly. The third person is he or she. He walked down the street and he saw the queen. She was dressed hip like it wasn't a thing. That's the third person, take it from him. Third person narration could be objective, omniscient, or from a limited perspective. Can the narrator see in everyone's thoughts? Narrating omnisciently like a boss.
Everybody wants to know my point of view. First person is me, second person is you. Third person is he, third person is she. Everybody wants to know my POV. Everybody wants to know my point of view. First person is me, second person is you. Third person is he, third person is she. Everybody wants to know my POV. Alright now, check your notes. Tell me which POV is in each quote. I was born with water on the brain. That's
First person.
He looked up into Father Wolf's face and laughed. That's
Third person.
We didn't always live on Mango Street. That's
First person.
So we closed our eyes and lay quite still. That's
Third person.
Your feet are now stuck in green slime. That's
Second person.
In the hole in the ground there lived a hobbit. That's
Third person.
It made me so sick I almost fell out of the tree. That's
First person.
You're thinking, this wasn't the way it was supposed to go. That's
Second person.
My name is Katniss Everdeen. I'm 17 years old. That's
First person.
Everybody wants to know my point of view. First person is me, second person is you. Third person is he, third person is she. Everybody wants to know my POV. Everybody wants to know my point of view. First person is me, second person is you. Third person is he, third person is she. Everybody wants to know my POV.
Okay, now we're going to go back. First is point of view. Point of view is a perspective. That just simply means you're trying to figure out who exactly is telling the story. The next one is narrator, and a narrator is the person or the character who is telling the story. The next one is part of speech, the pronoun part of speech. Pronoun is a word that takes the place of a noun. I have some listed: I, me, he, she, herself, and then there are several others. And then last, I've added the word dialogue. Dialogue is the conversation between two or more people in a text, and it's usually identified in a text with quotation marks. Now we're going to look at the point of view chart where it says start here. It says do not look at dialogue, and that's spoken words or the characters thinking. And once we go through, and you'll see if you mark through those, then you'll be able to focus on the pronouns, and then that will help you determine the part of speech. First person part of speech, you're going to be looking for I, me, my, myself, we, us, our, and ourselves. If it's written in second person point of view, the pronoun you're going to see is you. And it says this one is rarely used. Third person point of view, you're going to be looking for the pronouns he, him, his, himself, she, her, herself, they, them, their, and themselves. And third person that has limited and omniscient. Limited is when the narrator knows only one of the character's thoughts, and then third person is when the narrator knows all of the character's thoughts and feelings. We're going to go through the text, and first thing we're going to do is I'm going to read it to you, and then we're going to go through and mark out all of the dialogue and focus on the pronouns that are left. Follow along as I read. You are so angry that you are about to spit nails. Karen claimed to be my friend, and then she does that. You grab your cell phone and plop down on your bed. Suddenly, you remember your parents' warnings. Cell phones aren't for sending angry text messages when you are upset with a friend. If you need to have a difficult conversation with someone, do it face to face, not over your cell phone, your mom had warned. If we discover that you are not using your phone properly, we will take it away and you won't be allowed to have it again until we think you are mature enough to use it correctly. Your dad had preached. Now we're going to go back through. I want you to take a few minutes and look at it and see if you can identify dialogue. Remember, the dialogue, the spoken words are with quotation marks. And in this one, you can see that the thoughts are in italicized. That's a thought. Spoken, 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 spoken. All of this is spoken because it's in the quotation marks. Now we're going to focus on, we're going to go back and skim through to see if we can identify some of the pronouns. I see you, your, you. So thinking back from the previous screen, when you see the pronouns you and your, that identifies the second person point of view. When you disregard all of the dialogue, the pronouns that remain are you and your. Okay, now the next one. What? You have to create a model of a solar system and prepare a presentation to go along with it. And it's due tomorrow. Mom cried as her face turned red. Didn't we go through this last month with a social studies project? You promised that you wouldn't ever wait until the last minute to start a project again. Time just got away from me. I was thinking that it was due next Friday, he explained Todd. A little lie won't hurt, he thought. So will you help me? Mom stared at Todd, pondering how to handle the situation. Clearly, if I keep coming to your rescue, this will continue to happen. It's time for Todd to face some real consequences. No, I won't. Okay, first what? Quotation marks. Now here, this doesn't have any quotation marks, but it's actually what Todd is thinking. So those are his thoughts. These are Mom's thoughts. Now we're going to go back and skim for pronouns. I see her, he. Do you see any more? Okay. Her and he are the pronouns that are left that's outside of the dialogue. Those pronouns are associated with which point of view? Those pronouns are associated with third person's point of view. And then this one This selection, it is third person omniscient because it's only two characters in this reading. So this one is focusing on or identifying both of the characters' thoughts and feelings. Next, can we do this with a partner? Theo begged. Sure, that's fine with me as long as you stay focused on the assignment, replied Mr. Steele. Everyone in the class cheered, everyone except Tasha. She watched as her classmates rushed to find their best friend and began working. This happens every time, she thought to herself. Tasha, do you have a partner yet? Asked Mr. Steele. Tasha shook her head, unable to speak. Well, it's your lucky day. You can choose any group to join. He considers me lucky to always be the one left standing without a partner. Some teachers just don't get it. Okay, we're going to cross through the dialogue and thoughts. Now we're going to go back and skim for pronouns. She, her, she, her. Okay, those are the only ones I see, she and her. Oh, I'm sorry, their and herself. Those pronouns are associated with third person point of view as well. And in this one, it's third person's limited because they're talking about Mr. Steele and Tasha, but it's only identifying or focusing on Tasha's thoughts and feelings. Okay, next. It is December 1804. You are cold, you are hungry, you are exhausted. You long to be back east celebrating Christmas with your family. You remind yourself that you are out in the wilderness of the American West on this frigid December night for a noble purpose. You are learning things about this new land each and every day. You are documenting everything you are encountering. Once this expedition ends and you are back home with your friends and family, just imagine the stories you will have to tell. You convince yourself again tonight that yes, it is all worth it. Any dialogue? I don't see any quotation marks, and this is correct. This one is all you see is you and yours, so that is second person because this is someone outside of the story that's telling the story. This is the last one we're going to do. After 28 months and 8,000 miles, I can hardly believe this incredible expedition is nearly complete. I told my crew. Although we did not find evidence of a Northwest Passage that our fellow Americans desperately hoped existed, we learned so much about the new land America has claimed as its own. My trusted fellow commander, William Clark, heartily agreed. Commander Lewis is right. To think of all the trials we endured, cold winters, summer storms, sickness, treacherous rivers, incredible mountains, hostile tribes, wild animals, that we only lost only one man, our dear friend and fellow companion, Sergeant William Floyd, to sudden illness. It is an incredible feat. I thank each and every one of you and your commitment to this cause. I concluded, life in America will be better for future generations thanks to all of your efforts. We're going to get rid of the dialogue and thoughts. Focusing and searching for pronouns that's outside of the dialogue, that's not underlined. I see I, we, I. There's my. I, we, my are associated with first person point of view. This is the great graphic organizer from the previous lesson as well. First person point of view, the narrator speaks about him or herself. Some of the pronouns associated with first person are I, me, my, we, our, and us. In the second person point of view, the narrator speaks directly to the reader. Some of the pronouns are you and your. And remember that this one is not often used. Third person point of view is objective, and that's when the narrator doesn't know any of the character's thoughts or feelings. Limited is when the narrator only knows one of the character's thoughts. And then omniscient is when the narrator knows all of the character's thoughts and feelings. And the pronouns associated with third person, he, she, his, her, it, they, and their. This concludes your lesson on point of view. I hope the information in this video will help you when you come to your reading. Thank you.